because this is the computer that is working in theory. But it just crashed midstream. So I think I've lost most people who were viewing, unfortunately. And I'm not exactly sure at what point it crashed. So I'm just going to go back, and I'm going to do like a last 10 minutes. It means I'm finishing after 5, but and it also means that anybody watching the videos is going to have to find. Well, I'll whatever. I'll deal with that afterwards. So anyway, continuing. I was just lying on the belly and trying to open up the front left side of my chest and looking around. And I'm rolling. My back arm is bent and I'm rolling this left back arm backwards and forwards, and I'm not in my maximum stretch, but I'm just feeling how where I put this back hand, I don't want to be in my maximum stretch because then I wouldn't have any room for play. So I'm just feeling where I put this back hand and the back arm, the angle at the elbow, all of the other variables in my body affects how I open up the tissue in the front of the left side of my chest. And then I'm just going to pause, take a rest after the computer crash. Drama. And I'm coming to sit, and I did this long process, so I guess just for people watching, I'm going to recap a little bit what I did, because I'm not sure what was caught in the stream. So basically just spent quite a long time, like 5 minutes, going from my fingertips up my arm, just feeling the tissue here all the way up the arm, under the armpit, this fleshy stuff that is turning from the breast into the armpit, into the arm, to the shoulder, and from the chest, from the breastbone, the ribs on the left side. And I really spent a long time doing that, so I invite you, if you're watching, to spend longer doing that. I got to the place when I noticed that the computer had crashed. I was just sitting in a parallel position in order to be able to feel the difference between my left and right sides. And it's a remarkable difference if you spend quite a while feeling this connection. I'm interested in and moving my arm around. I'm still working on that same left side, moving the arm around and using the other hand to feel this tissue of the chest. And it's not a massage, it's really just sliding the tissue around on top of the bones of the rib cage. I could even move my arm by pushing and pulling that tissue. And then I rest again. Feel the remarkable difference between my left and right side. And I'm going to come to lie on my belly again and do the other side, just to make sure that it's not a one-sided experience. So I'm lying on my front again, but facing the other way, just so that it's clear and visible. How I'm now having my right arm behind me as I look to my left, and my right arm is just playing around with going into different places on the floor, and I'm rolling my body towards my right side. I don't get all the way onto my right hand side, but my right arm is stuck behind me on the floor. I'm not at the maximum stretch, but I'm just seeing where can I go and how can I open up the front of the right hand side of my chest. And this is the side that has been so stuck with so much computer usage, phone usage. I'm just looking around, I'm moving my ribs, my belly, I'm moving my hand in different ways, seeing where can the hand go. I really don't even know if it's still streaming, to be honest, but I'm just going to finish my own practice for my own sanity. Even if it means I'm actually talking to myself. So I'm opening up the right hand side of my chest and I'm feeling this tissue, and I'm going to come up to sitting again, and I'm going to do the same thing for my right hand side. So I'm using my left hand to go from my right fingertips just to enliven a little bit the palm. Feel the connection of the bones through the wrist to the elbow, and then move the flesh around a little bit. Just want to roll the flesh, roll the lower arm, roll the radius around the ulna. Soften that tissue. And once it's softened, it's ready for more efficient work. So come up the bicep, I feel the bicep on my right hand side. And squidge the tricep at the back. I'll wrap my arm in and let this shoulder come forwards, and let this big muscle of the pectorals on the chest close. If I roll my shoulder forwards and hunch my shoulder, then I shorten my pectoral muscles and I just squidge them around a little bit. And then I get my hand up underneath from my breastbone up underneath my armpit, and there's the real big flesh of the pecs. And I can now just move my right arm around a little bit and feel, how does my right arm connect to my rib cage through the pectoral muscles, the shoulder, and I can push and pull with my left hand. I can manipulate my right shoulder a little bit just by pushing and pulling the muscles of my right shoulder, of the front of the shoulder, the pecs, with my left hand. A little manipulation. Digging my fingers a little bit into the pecs, so that I'm going for a little bit more of a massage on this side, just because I feel that that's what's needed. And I'm going to just finish by opening up that right hand again. And just one last time, coming into side sitting just to help me feel really an expansion, a lengthening from my right sitting bone all the way up my belly, my ribs, my arm, exploring the connection from my fingers to my shoulder, to the pecs, the armpit, the underside of the shoulder, the ribs, front of the chest. The neck is free, so the breath can be free. And I feel that length that I can get now from my belly button to my fingertips. And I come to sitting again in a kind of symmetrical position, so that I can just sense now, my right side has changed significantly from that. I'm going to come back to lie on my belly and just finish with the last little play. Going into that stretch a little bit, trying to open up the front of the chest, but still just like when I was doing the manipulation with my left hand of my right pecs, I'm still just trying to open up the chest and not push into the most extreme stretch, but just be on the edge of it so there's room for play. My biceps change what they're doing depending on whether my arm is bent or straight. Where am I looking? Where am I rolling my weight? How much do I roll onto my side? How straight or bent is my arm? And then I come back to lie on my belly, and I just continue playing with stretching my fingers away from my center, up on a diagonal, feeling what that does on each side. Rolling the shoulders back, trying to release tension in the neck and jaw, looking around. And I just rest, lying on my belly for a moment with my arms down by my side. And then I roll onto my back and I just take a last rest lying on my back. So because of the computer crash, usually I get a little bit kind of gummier and more muscular towards the end of the practice, and I'm not going there today just because of this technological problems. So again, for anybody watching, take it where you want to. If you want to continue with what we were doing, obviously lying on the front, there's lots of potential from this place where we were before, lying on the front, reaching the arms out, exploring where the arms can go, exploring rotation and rolling, exploring how the fingertips connect to the center. From there, if you want, there's lots of potential for press-ups, or more rounding through the back, or flexibility training if you want to spend longer in a back bend. I'm just gonna, for me, finish with that openness across the chest that I was losing with all of the work at the computer. And I'm just gonna come to standing. Feel my fingertips. Feel my feet on the floor. A little fist, just a soft fist, encircling out my wrists. Spreading my hands out wide, softening my knees. Feeling the openness across the chest. And the softness in the hips. And I'm going to end the stream there and then take my walk, having ended. Thanks for sticking with me. Anybody that actually managed to, apologies for I think we lost about 10 minutes or so, I think, in the crash. So anyway, we'll try again tomorrow. Quarantine life, whatever, try again tomorrow. It's like the common theme of a lot of days. You get to the end of the day, it's like, oh well, try again tomorrow. Thanks everyone.